Okay, so now we are going to start the data structure part in the Python, and the first data structure which we're going to learn is list. So I'm here at my Jupyter notebook. Let me rename it to 002 data structure, basically lists. Okay, so we are going to learn about the data structure which is list. Now what is a list? A list is a data structure in Python basically that stores a collection of items which can be of any type and in any specific order. Okay, so that's the definition of the list. Now lists are mutable. Now what is that mutable means? It means that the can be elements of the list can be added, removed or modified after the list is created. If you remember, in this string I was trying to modify the character of the string after the string is created. It was not allowing, so that's a non-mutable, so that's why that's immutable. And lists are mutable. We can change, add, remove or modify after even creation of the list. So that's why this capability makes the list very powerful. And going forward we'll see how we can use list and strings together to solve most of the problems. Okay, now lists are defined using a square brackets. So there is a proper syntax or the way to the way we define the list. Okay, and every item in the square bracket is, or the every element in of the list is separated by commas. So there is a square bracket like this and we have commas. So let me define a list of numbers. So creating a list of integers. Okay, so creating list of integer, let's say 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, so this is how we define a list of numbers or the integers. And if you see, this is a square bracket and every element, so 1 is a element, 2 is a element, 3 is an element, like that till 9 are the elements and closing bracket. So this is how we define a list in Python. So very simple, just a square bracket. And okay. So you see, we have a list of numbers. Now again, to validate that, we can use our type function, which will use inside print to know the numbers. Again guys, this numbers is an arbitrary name. You can define any name, numbers list also. You can define a number list or any name you want to give. It's just a variable, and this variable is of class type list, so which basically holds these values in the list. Okay, we can also create a list of strings. So creating a list of strings. Okay, so let's say I have a colors list, which is basically red, RGB, green, yellow, black, white. Okay, so if I try to print colors, we'll see a list, and also if you see, this also will be a list. Now I will create one list. Okay, so let me just list of mixed data types. So it's a mixed list. So let's say 1 comma hello comma comma now pause here and think whether whatever I have defined is a valid list, or is it a list, or when I try to create this list, what is going to happen, whether an error occur, or whether what do you think? Okay, so I hope you might have got the answer. However, this is a valid list. Okay, so that's a beauty. So we can create list of mixed data types. Okay, so this is a valid list. There is no problem here. So let's validate whether it's a list type or not. Again, we'll use our type function to check that, and here we go. So it's a list. Yeah, so that's all in this video. We learnt about what's a list, and in the upcoming videos we'll learn about how to access the list element of a list, and then how to modify element of list, adding the element to the list, removing element to the list, iterating over the list, slicing a list, searching a list, and counting the occurrence of the elements, reversing the list, copying a list, concatenating a list, removing all elements from a list, and creating a list with given size with initial value, and removing duplicate from the list. So this kind of a things we are going to see in upcoming videos, and also I will be talking about some use cases, like what are the scenarios where how in real world scenarios, use cases where list comes handy. So stay tuned and see you in the next video.